If your friend or partner that had passed on to the great beyond showed up at your doorstep and asked you to take their hand and go for a swim in the lake, what would you do? We're in Witherbloom territory, and Dina, now a grad student, is leading a group of her students into the wild near Titan's Grave, and they are after a creature entity called the Devotion. And it already sounds suspicious, but it kind of gets worse because this creature just doesn't attack you, it uses your grief against you. During their trek, they find a deceased bird, and the students go straight into lab mode and start dissecting it. And one of the students, Basil, he can't even watch. He's totally disturbed by it. This is in part due to the passing of Basil's partner, Merton. Remember that name. And part of the twist with this, the students are basically bait to catch this creature. The sun's going down, they make it to a little cottage, and then there's a knock at the door. They open the door, it's Merton, alive, smiling, dressed just as he once was, and it's kind of uncanny. One by one, the group has to face him. One of the students, Laurenin, shuts the door even though it hurts. The other student, Morphia, resists even though it hurts a ton. And you gotta figure, it's quite tough to see your deceased friend in the flesh. Each time there's a knock, knock, knock on the chamber door, Merton is trying to tell them what they need to hear. But it's not reality, it's a reflection of their grief. Dina even explains it. She says, you will see the deceased again through memory, through magic, but that doesn't mean that it's really them. Basil hears all of this and he still chooses differently. Because on the third night, according to the scriptures, Basil goes against the plan. He sees Merton, and he takes his hand and whisks off into the night. They obviously gotta go after him, but that's when the Devotion reveals itself in the lake. It's this giant undulating water monster with a skull at the center, and immediately it is overtaking the group. It is doing some damage. It's freezing Morphia, it's burning Laurenin, and Dina just has to stand there and watch this go down and not interfere. Morphia and Laurenin sync up their powers, and they're finally kind of getting the upper hand on the Devotion, but Basil swoops in and he one-shots this thing. So yeah, they win, they get what they're after, but that's not the point. Dina explains it back at camp that grief is not something that you just get over. It's not a spell that resolves, it's something that stays with you, and you have to decide what you're going to do with that. Morphia and Laurenin, they choose connection. They decide to keep going with Witherbloom. But Basil? No, he does not. The next morning, Basil goes to the lake with the Devotion skull in tow, and he releases it. Dina asks, what did I do wrong? What do you need? And the answer is quiet but final from Basil. He says, I don't think I want to be a mage anymore. So he lets the skull go back into the water, and he walks away quietly, alone. So, not everybody processes grief by moving forward. Sometimes they just choose a completely different path.